Hey everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Mystical Ninja, starring Goemon. So one thing I wanted to mention really quick before we continued on, man, the Japanese logo, usually this is the case anyway, but the Japanese logo looks so much cooler than this one, and not only that, in the UK, you guys got a really cool logo too. And this one, it's a bit simple, and yet I kind of get why they made it like this. You'll probably notice that ninja and mystical are really big on here. And I think the reason they did that is because over here, Goemon wasn't that much of an established series as it is in Japan. Now in Japan, this series is known as Ganbare Goemon, so a lot of the titles focus on Goemon. Over here, we only had, up at this point, this would be the second game in the entire franchise released here, and the first game, which was on Super Nintendo, was simply known as The Legend of the Mystical Ninja. So I guess in order to kind of make it obvious that this was a sequel to that game, or part of that series, I guess for us, we would know the series as Mystical Ninja. They really focused on calling it, you know, Mystical Ninja and making it really obvious that that's part of the title. But the original title for this game, as it is an established franchise in Japan, is actually much longer and more complicated. It's known as Ganbare Goemon Neo Momoyama Bokufu no Odori, which translates roughly to around Dance of the Neo Peach Mountain Shoguns. So, but yeah, Ganbare usually meaning like go for it, keep at it. So in Japan, this series is kind of known as Go For It Goemon. Anyway, that's just a little bit of trivia I wanted to say, mostly because I was like, man, our title screen sucks. Anyway, let's continue on with Ganbare Goemon on the Nintendo 64. So, I did a little bit of grinding, as you can see, as I have a good chunk of Rio. Now, I would recommend grinding here in this little section inside of transformed Oedo Castle, because if you break these pots, a bunch of Rio pops out, and you can collect a bunch of it here. Now, you really only need to get around 1,000. I just kind of got carried away and got a lot, because, what can I say? Breaking this stuff's fun. It's fun to do. I don't know what it is. What is it with video games and breaking pots and vases just being fun? Anyway, let us enter into our first, I guess you could say, dungeon kind of a thing. Transformed Oedo Castle, we need to try to find out what happened here and what we can do. So, a glitch you can do with Rio, which I failed to do because I need to mash harder. This is another tactic speedrunners use. I'm bad at it, all of a sudden. When I was trying to learn to speedrun this game, I was actually good at this, but you can kind of skip the use of, the chain pipes again there by, as you saw, using the Rio to carry your momentum across. And allows you to kind of just jump these gaps without ever getting it. Now there are a few glitches that I will not be able to show off at all because some glitches are exclusive to the Japanese version because they actually fixed a bunch of stuff before they ported it or sent it over here. Yeah, go figure. Like these days it's kind of weird to think about too, because these days you have like, a lot of the games are digital or you can do digital updates. Companies can do digital updates anyway, and you know, they can just patch stuff. But back then, they actually caught a bunch of weird glitches and mistakes that they made on their version and fixed them before they released it overseas. So it's kind of interesting to think about that, like, oh, we released this game, there's just this stuff that you can do. And they fixed that for this one. Now in this room, there's actually a little friend over here we're gonna see. He looks like an elephant, but you'll see that his name is in fact Mr. Elephant. It's not an elephant, he's Mr. Elephant, and you will show him respect. He is the map. Why an elephant is a map, I'm not quite sure. But, there you go. There's also a fortune doll in this room, so we're gonna go pick that up as well. Using this weird-looking seashell thing. Now, the weird thing about those shells is, they kind of mess with your momentum when you're jumping off of them. I'm not quite sure why it happens, but if you use Rio and throw it, you can kind of get your momentum back so you can do your jump properly. But yeah, I'd have no idea how to explain it other than these things eat your momentum, and I'm not sure why. It's really bizarre. But yeah, whatever, just use Rio so you can kind of carry your momentum forward. Another glitch speedrunners use is if you rub up against a wall a certain way, you will walk faster than normal. It's really bizarre. I'm not sure how it works, but just yet another thing. Alright, in this stream, we're gonna have another kind of homage to Zelda because we're gonna have floor tiles flying at us. Just kill them with Rio, and a nice key will appear right in front of us. Nice and convenient. But yeah, this is another reason why these games are just really fun. Just because, like, actually, we gotta go this way first. It is very reminiscent, like, this game does get compared to those, like, the likes of Legend of Zelda and Super Mario 64 a lot for its gameplay and style. And, it's a pretty good comparison. But, of course, again, this game has a lot of its own charm and stuff going on with it, as we've already seen and will continue to see. Another room we have to kill all the enemies in. There isn't much significance about multicolored keys other than, oh, they're just specific to the same colored lock. So that way you don't end up going through the wrong door with the wrong key or something. A little bit more streamlined than, say, Zelda. Alright, now we've gotten that. Jump on across here. So a thing that was actually changed from the Japanese version, those blocks used to not be stars, they used to be a Buddhist symbol. And as you guys may know, the symbol for that has a strong resemblance to the swastika. So I believe they changed it from that in order to not have it look like that for obvious reasons, because, you know, even though it's not a swastika, I guess they just didn't want it in there just to be mistaken as one and have some kind of controversy attached to the game. That's one of very few changes. They didn't change too much about this, honestly, as far as, like, look at these guys. They're just cleaning the floor. It's actually kind of a reference to, well, just in general, in temples and stuff, they would clean the floor by holding a cloth and running across the floor with it. Probably seen that in movies, anime movies, and anime in general, that they do that a lot. But yeah, I use Rio a lot to carry my momentum across jumps, just to make my life a bit easier, and you don't have to worry about it as much. Alright, in here, gotta take a little detour in this room, just to collect another fortune doll. Just can't forget about this guy. A lot of these fortune dolls are out in the open, you know, they're not too much of a big deal to find. So, when it comes to collecting them, they're not that hard in this game, to be honest, because a lot of the time, like, maybe they're, like, hiding around a corner or something, but a lot of the time they're pretty obvious where they are. Like, when you find them, they're pretty obvious, right? So, not a big deal. Alright, wait. Gotta go on in here first to get another key. So here is another obvious change that they did, I will talk about really quick, from the Japanese version, a thing they fixed. What used to happen when he got damaged is Goemon, or whoever got hit, would kind of float up vertically. They changed that so that they no longer float up at all, because you would be able to take advantage of that to skip things, and I guess they caught that and fixed it so that it wouldn't happen here. This looks like another room you have to kill all the enemies in, but it's just kind of there out in the open on the table. These enemies don't even matter. Anyway, keep this gigantic hand here in mind, because there's actually something behind there, but we can't pass right now, so we'll come back to that later. We'll be back. Trust me. But yeah, that was one of the few things they fixed before they brought it over to us, which is interesting, again, to think about, because, yeah, like back then you couldn't just patch a game and then stuff, because it's out there physically. This is a little physical object. Alright, this is another friend, Mr. Arrow. He simply reveals which floor and where the boss is on the map. It's kind of not that important. It's not like a compass in Zelda where it would show you where treasures and stuff are. So, not a big deal. More little dongles cleaning the floors. That's just their life, that's all they do. And ninjas! There's ninjas everywhere, man. So full of ninjas. I actually like those guys a bit, because the sound effects of their throwing stars are just satisfying when they go into the wall and stuff. I like them. They're annoying and they hurt, but I like them. Alright, moving on. So again, I got kind of a ridiculous amount of Rio right now, but I'll just repeat myself and say, you don't need this much. We do need Rio for something later, but not a lot. I would recommend getting at least 1,000 or so, but you don't need that much ever at any point in the game, unless you really want to grind and try out those items that are available in general stores and stuff, but otherwise, not usually that important. So, I was sure I heard something down there. Was it you guys? What the? Well, who in the world are you? My name is Baron. I've come to make Oedo Castle a beautiful stage. Stage? What would we need a stage for?
Goemon, this smells like danger to me. Why don't we just grab this weirdo by the throat and beat him up a bit?
Jeez, Ebisimaru, completely brutal. That's so rude. Let's grab this guy by the throat and beat him up. Like, what the hell? Damn, dude. Vicious.
Who are you calling weirdo?
Yeah, and that's a weird thing about this game. There's a laugh track. I don't know why. Oh, actually, I do know. We'll talk about that in a second.
Maybe I'll just have to beat you up.
Ooh, what a comeback. What a comeback from Baron. But yeah, a laugh track and an audience is watching us. A big theme in this game is stage. You see he mentioned he wants to turn stuff into a stage. A large theme of this game is stage and like performance and stuff, and music is a big part of it as well. The reason behind that, and kind of behind Goemon's design in general, this entire game is kind of based around the idea of a no musical performance, and what a no is, it's like it's a talent show, usually in the form of a musical. And as you can kind of tell by this location, a lot of the time those stages kind of look like that, and you'll see when we pause, and on the main menu save screen and stuff, there's kind of like a design. And one of the loading screen save menus specifically is based off of a flag that kind of represents a comedic style show. So yeah, there's a lot of reference to Japanese performing arts. It's kind of really neat. Anyway, let's continue on. But yeah, that's a huge part of this game, and why a lot of the style is the way it is. And yet again, another fortune doll just sitting out in the middle of nowhere. And a couple of dongo if you need them. So before we head into this room, for whatever reason is incredibly dark. Like really, really dark, and I have to change, I'm gonna boost up the brightness on my capture card just a little bit so we can actually see in there. Otherwise it's like pitch black, and I don't really know why, but we'll be right back. Alright, so I boosted up the brightness again. It looks bad in here, kind of way too much, but you'll see in a second. Congo, the king robot. So welcome to our very first boss fight. Now normally when I came into this room I noticed that it's just ridiculously dark in here for some reason. So yeah, I needed the brightness to boost up a little bit. Anyway, Congo, he is just a giant face. Not much to him, literally, he's a face. You can kind of just wail on the spot on his chin, and when he's doing the spin around thing, normally you'd like to just kind of play a jump rope and jump over them, but you can't. He at no point becomes invulnerable, so you can keep wailing at him at all times. Sometimes his little hit spot's low enough where you can kind of just keep wailing at it. Sometimes you gotta jump at it a little bit. Switching the chain pipe is helpful here because it'll make it a bit easier to hit him while he's spinning. I'm not too good at it. You can get stuck like I just did while running around if you rub up against his little, I guess, necklace thing we'll call it. You can kind of get stuck and your momentum will die and you kind of won't move very fast, so just be careful about that. Otherwise, this boss is pretty simple. Just rinse and repeat, keep wailing on him as much as possible. Yeah, that's a better example of what you can do. Hit him with the chain pipe while he's spinning. There you go. Get in that damage, bruh. Get in that damage. But yeah, this is Congo, your first boss. Not too big of a deal. And we're slowly destroying him piece by piece, the poor guy. Not doing too well with hitting him here. The hitbox and the lasers are pretty generous too. They pretty much are just like what they look like. So he's not that big of a deal. Also, he's getting ready to breathe fire there. You know what? I'm gonna let him do it this time. Him breathing fire is not that big of a threat because, well, you can kind of just stand under him while he does it. Here, I'll show you right now. He's pretty much almost dead, so let me show off this other attack because I'm not seeing him. Or not, you can just not. You can just not, buddy. Wanna breathe fire, friend? Come on, show off your other attack. Oh, I guess he's not going to. Never mind. Weird. Well, he breathes fire, and that attack isn't that big of a deal because you can just kind of stand near him, and it won't hit you. Really doesn't matter. Like he's about to do now, actually. Here you go. See? Not much of a threat. Can't even really happen. And with that, he's down. Not a very hard boss. Alright, and now that the lights are on, we can actually see in this room now. So let me return my capture card to its default settings. Okay, now that we're back to our original lighting. Let's pick up this. What is this? Receive the miracle moon in the shape of the moon. Oh, really? This moon-like thing is in the shape of a moon. Never would have guessed. And with that, this door is now open. Let's go see what's going on. Hey, it's the Lord. Seems they're fine.
We're safe now, thanks to you.
Lord, what has become of Oedo Castle?
Suddenly, there was this bright light, and next thing I know, well, look around you.
We saw it from the outside. The whole castle transformed when that peach beam hit.
I remember that strange man was yelling something like, "Instant stage beam!"
Instant... What? That's a strange name.
By the way, where did that weirdo go?
He rushed off in an awful hurry.
I've got a favor to ask of you. Could you catch the guys that did this to Oedo Castle for me? I beg you!
Give me a break.
I've never heard anything so sad in my life. Of all people, Goemon, the hero.
But thou must.
Please!
Oh well, alright.
We can't let anyone do something like this and get away with it.
Good! I knew I could count on you! Oh, I almost forgot! Take this with you! As long as you've got this, you'll be able to open the gate!
Goemon and Ebisimaru receive a super pass from the Lord!
I'm counting on you!
Do we wish to save the game to this point in our adventure diary? You can if you want, but don't really need to. Especially since when it warps us outside, there's a save point right here anyway. So, it's not much of a point. Anyway, we're actually gonna head back into Oedo Castle here, because remember that big hand? Well, let's head back to that location. I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, we're now in the correct room. Here it is on the map in case you need the map at all. I usually don't look at the map that much because none of the areas are that complicated where you really need them, but now that the giant hand is gone, we can walk into this new area, and here is a hidden room with a whole crap load of Rio, and of course the thing we actually really want in here, the fortune doll. So, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this guy. One more, we'll get another heart. May as well finish collecting all this Rio. I'm gonna be a rich man by the end of this. Alright, with that, that's all we need to do in here. There's no other hidden areas that involve defeating Congo and coming back in, so we can just leave now. So I'll catch you guys outside. Alright, back outside Oedo here. We are now free to leave. We've gained the super pass from the Lord, as we clearly saw in that dialogue box that really screamed it at us. But that allows us to head out in a new direction from town. So we have a whole new area we're gonna be able to explore. And of course, we can take a nice calming path through the through the water here. Gonna go on a nice swim. Not only is this gonna get us to where we need to be anyway, but there's also another fortune doll we can pick up on the way, and we're gonna get a whole new heart container. Isn't that exciting? I can't wait. Heart containers are good things. More life, the better. I mean, this game isn't that difficult, but hey, the more health we get, the better. Plus, this is like the one thing we can do to get 100% completion of this game, and you know, may as well, right? May as well make this a whole nice, complete playthrough. Get everything we can. So here we are, another fortune doll. Get a whole new thing on her. Get a whole new heart. Whole new world. Okay, and we also happen to be in the right place where there are two guards standing who, if you talk to them earlier, they're just like, oh my gosh. Oh yeah, no, they told us. We talked to them earlier, I forgot. The magical sealing device, the plot device that keeps the door shut. We can now open it with the super pass.
Wait a minute! That's the Lord's super pass! As long as you have it, you can open the gate!
And yet then they go open the gate. Alright then, I don't think I really opened it, but if I remember, these guys are pretty good. That's it for us! If only the titles of this game was starring Gatekeeper rather than starring Goemon, then we'd have a lot more fun. Aww. We'll just keep standing here until you clear the game. Kinda painful. Kinda depressing. Like, so many of the characters in this are just so good. Welcome to Musashi. This is kind of just a point A to point B little pass-through place. Not much going on here. There's not even music. It's kind of weird, because you guys are gonna have to deal with my annoying voice for a bit. But if we head over here, another fortune doll just sitting around. There's also a block up there, like a little metal block we can go look at, but we can't really do anything with it right now. Like, you can't push it or anything, so I guess that's really all we can do here. At least we got a fortune doll. Hey, the more lucky cats, the better, right? But can't go that way, so we're gonna head over this way. Ow, meanie. I don't even know what these enemies are doing. These ones with the pink dresses, they kind of just walk around. Gotta intentionally get hit by these things. Alright, in this little tunnel. It's kind of peaceful in here. The lack of music. Could really appreciate the well-designed sound effects in this, though. Alright. Out on the other side. Well, here we go, in Iga Shinano. We're actually off to visit a friend. I'm gonna go talk to somebody who can help us out. But in order to get there, first we gotta scale this mountain. It may not be the biggest mountain, but it is a mountain. I guess if Fuji has the title of the biggest mountain in this. I guess the most wall mountain, the wall mountain. I don't know, man. But we'll just make our way up. Some golden dongle there. I don't really need it, though. Really like the lighting out here, and of course, as always, the music's godlike. Using this it's just so good. Everything about this game, man. I love it. I love it to bits. Alright, but there's the house off in the distance, so just gotta take a nice stroll on over there.
Oh my. See this? It's the Triton shell that summons gigantic robot impact.
Wise Man had it.
And so, is this rubble all that remains of Wise Man's house?
Hey man, what are you doing here?
Oh my god! You're that weirdo from Oedo Castle! Not only Oedo Castle, but now the Wise Man's home? How senseless can you be? You weirdo!
Man. I wonder if they called him something else in Japanese. Weirdo seems kind of innocent. I actually don't know.
You keep calling me weirdo. It's not nice to call people names. I'm gonna crush you with my robot.
It just spins off like a top.
You coward! I'm not letting you get away this time!
And with that, we're gonna save the game. And we're gonna leave it on a cliffhanger. He mentioned something about a robot. We mentioned something about a robot. Could there possibly be a robot fight? Find out next time. This has been Bluebomberimo. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, have a great day.